Thank you so much for jumping on here. So we were presenting this presentation at a small private college in Georgia this week to 400 students, and I was able to talk to about 100 of them personally to find out was some of this stuff making sense. And yeah, there's a lot of stressed out, not sleeping, too attached to their devices, kids. So the first thing I want you to do as a parent is do the wellness survey so you can kind of see where you are, and maybe pause this, do the survey, because we're going to use it in the presentation. So we are going to give these college kids, I'm going through it a lot faster for you than I did for them. We're going to give you some hacks to be able to help with some of the stress and anxiety that's going on in your life. So I'm with the company. My name is Rhonda Arndorfer. I'm a founding wellness partner with Amari Global. I work with Hip Tran, the owner of our company. Hip was very successful in everything he did, super stressed out. Even as a kid, he had a lot of stress in his life. His family came here and they're Vietnamese, and they opened up a Mexican restaurant. So he kind of got bullied and a little teased, and hardworking family. They wanted to put their kids through college, and that culture believes that you should be a doctor or a lawyer, a very professional person, and Hip couldn't pass chemistry. So therefore his career to be a dentist was out the door. So he went to work, started a credit card processing business, was super, super successful. Then the business failed. Some regulations changed. He lost his entire business, had to start from ground zero, start all over again, stressed out, has anxiety, has always had anxiety. And now he started medicating himself with alcohol. He and his wife were trying to have children. There was a lot of stress involved in that. And so just more and more alcohol and Xanax and stuff. So his wife was pleading with him to please get his health back. She videoed him, and he decided that he was going to die, or he needs to get his health. Sold his credit card company, went and got professionals to help him, and he decided to start a company that can help other people that have stress and anxiety and depression in their life. And it's basically a gut company, a mental wellness company going at it through gut health. So as we go through the presentation, I'm going to teach you more about the products that Hip developed. And these are the products that I think could really, really, really help your children in college. So like Hip, there's also 350 other million people affected around the world with anxiety and stress. And the World Health Organization is calling that the 21st century epidemic. So I asked your kids how many of them heard about physical health, and gave them some examples, 7 out of 10. How many of them had heard about mental wellness or educated about it? Basically, it's 1 out of 10. And so I explained to them what mental wellness is. Are you sleeping well? Are you able to control your mood? Are you have stress in your life? We can't eliminate that, but are you able to manage and be resilient to it? Do you have energy? Do you have focus and concentration? How are you doing with your brain function? And are you able to get through your lectures and apply what you learned in your lectures in your labs and these group events and so forth? So I gave them a lot of examples. If they hadn't taken the wellness assessment, they can take it here. And where are you guys on this wellness spectrum, on the wellness continuum? And so basically, most college kids, 68% of college kids are between the 1 and 5. There were a few athletes in the room that were up in the 8, 9, 10, but I wanted to let these kids know that most of them are in the average, the 1 to 5 range at their point in their life, and that we're here today to teach them some things that they can do to keep on moving. We want to go to the right. We want to go to the right every day. A little change in everything we're going to talk about today to move you to the right. And here's where I taught them about their microbiome. So their gut can play a huge role on what's going on with the brain. There's a gut-brain axis that's going on here. We're going to talk a little bit about it in a minute. So we're going to go through the 8 hacks. The first hack is, are you getting enough sleep? And we talked about why they need 8 hours, 7.5 to 8 hours a night of sleep, and they're not getting that. And if they're not getting that, their brains aren't getting the recovery that the brain needs, and they're foggy during the day, and they just don't have enough energy because their body and their brain have not rejuvenated. They're not able to fall asleep in the first 15 minutes. They're not able to stay awake at night, and if they don't get enough, college kids just are not getting the amount of sleep that they need. And here's the problem. They're going to be crabby. They're not going to be able to perform in their classes. They're not going to have great judgment. They're not going to have reaction time on the field when they're playing their sports. And they're probably going to have more acne issues and just lots of stuff. And that, the second hack, are they drinking enough water? Their brain is 75% made up of water. If they're not getting the water, the hydration, they're going to feel headaches, and they're just not going to feel good. And they have a way of being able to check their hydration level. And so I taught them how to, just check your urine in the morning, and where are you, and how much water do you need to stay focused, to stay hydrated. So you need to drink half of your body weight in ounces of water per day. And then we spent a lot of time here on the gut-brain axis, and I taught them about the bacteria that's in their gut, and kind of related it to a garden. And if you're feeding the garden, it's going to give your brain some stuff. If you're feeding the weeds that's in there, there's always the good and the bad bacteria in there. We want to feed the good bacteria. And why do we want to feed that? And what is this gut-brain axis? And why is it so important to feed the gut to be able to feed the brain? So there's been a recent scientific discovery here that towards the microbiome, also known as your gut, that it's your second brain, and it is the new target for addressing mental wellness issues. This Hippocrates, the top respected medical profession in 340 BC, said all disease starts in the gut. So he was talking about it way back then. So we've known about this concept, but now we have the science that's behind it that literally can tell us what's going on in these kids might be in their guts, even though they're having the anxiety, they're having the depression. Yes, we can help with some natural things with that, but hey, let's really, really, really concentrate on what's going on with their gut and their brain, focusing the two together, and maybe we can really help these guys. So we talked about the 5 gut disruptors, antibiotics. What's an antibiotic? Why is the anti and the biotic, meaning the bacteria? When you have an infection, you need to eliminate that infection using these antibiotics, but the antibiotic is going to wipe out all the good and the bad, and so you need to be on probiotics. And we talked about that, and how long while you're on the antibiotics and how long after. And I asked them to go Google artificial sugars, because seriously, other countries don't even allow what we allow in our food source. And there's a lot of research out there. Pesticides, if they can choose to eat organic food, but sometimes they can't. So wash your fruits and vegetables. And corn syrup, I mean, that's what we boil down corn and make it into syrup and put it into our drinks. Really, that's what we give our cows to make them fat. What are we doing to our kids? And stress, the cortisol levels, and the freshman 15, and they have this stress, and they're making these bad food choices, and they don't know how to deal with all of this, and it's really in their gut, and what's in their gut is affecting their brain. And sometimes they don't even really understand, why is my brain having all these issues? Why can't I focus? Why am I exhausted? So what is the microbiome? When it's in balance, you feel great. When it's out of balance, you have all these issues going on. And a lot of it can come out as fatigue, sad, hungry. Like we talked a little bit about acne, confused, brain fog. And I taught them maybe they should read more labels and try to get the rainbows into their diet, right? Like, how can you put for breakfast? How can you have fruits and vegetables? You want to start populating that microbiome. You want to feed the plants first thing in the morning with all the good stuff, with all the colors of the rainbows. Read your labels. If you can't pronounce the word, think of it as like a prescription. Don't put it in there. It's not going to do good for the good bacteria that's going to feed your brain function. So get rid of more of the sugars and the processed foods that are feeding the weeds. You don't want to overgrow the garden. So we talked a lot about that. Types of things they should stop drinking. Really, really stop drinking sports drinks all day long. No sodas. Like, this stuff is not good for your microbiome, and that's not going to be good for your brain. And so I showed them this slide, and they were like totally surprised that, seriously, this is just 20 of the 60,000 products that are out there that contain high levels of fructose corn syrup. I asked them, how many are you eating one of these consistently a day? And how many of you are eating 5 of these? And if you're eating 1, do you have any of these issues? If you're eating 5, do you have any of these issues? If you're eating 1 and you don't have any of these issues, your bacteria is still in good balance, and you can get away with 1. But, if you're eating a lot and you've got anxiety, depression, fatigue, brain fog, let's try to really populate the gut. Let's get away from these energy drinks, and I pass them out a natural alternative, something that has brain-boosting superfood extracts in it, an ingredient called theanine. Like, go and Google it. Literally gives your brain more energy. So what I gave to them is an Amare Energy Plus. So the plus means focus. It's low in sugar. They're not going to be on these roller coasters, and they're not going to be drinking high sugar drinks. So guayusa is an Amazon leaf, which has 15 essential amino acids. It's been proven to give you physical energy. It's proven to give you brain energy and alertness. So why wouldn't we want that for our kids so they can focus in school? This matcha, this has an amino acid that really gives more calming and relaxing to the brain. It increases energy levels. It gives you more energy than a Coke or a coffee could give you. And then New Zealand pine bark. This is my favorite item. And in a lot of our products, we're literally giving kids that have ADD, ADHD, and autism, that we're improving their concentration levels. Why wouldn't we want to do that to our college kids? Get New Zealand pine bark in for the brain boosting, delivering focus, energy, focus to their brains. Our first form of defense in the United States is a pharmaceutical option. In New Zealand, they give them New Zealand pine bark. And so we talked about moving. So getting exercise. There was a fitness center here that gives these kids $10 to go to as many classes as they want every single month, like $10. That's all it is. Go and take some classes. Pay attention to how much time you're sitting around. Seriously, get moving. Even if you can't move, you should be moving 30 minutes a day. That is going to lower your depression, anxiety, and fatigue. And it's going to improve your mental clarity. It's going to increase motivation. These are all the mental benefits of exercising. Reducing stress. They're going to be able to think and have better control of the issues that they're dealing with, and have a different mindset. So set a priority to be listening to the good guys in your brain, not the negative Nellies in your brain. Stay connected to the positive people. There's always going to be all these different thoughts going on. Have your thoughts and set intentions, and be able to not have any gloom and doom around you. Be happy. Get out and do the happy things. What you focus on is going to expand. And if you're focusing on the critical judge and the complainer and hanging out with those people, you're not going to have the kindness and the joy and the gratitude and the love. So set your intentions and do those in what you want your destiny to be, not letting other people do it for you. So if they need help, they can go to the counselors. There's free services here. Then this was a hack that we talked on a lot. Like, really, why should you be supporting your body with vitamin D? We can get it from food sources. We can get it from sunlight. Why do we need omegas? We need omega-3s for brain function. Why do we need probiotics? We need that for better gut function. Our gut is producing 70% of the serotonin that they need. How to eat the rainbow. So we really went into the supplemental stuff. And here's what we briefed on, but is kind of sort of the most important. And I can talk about it here because I'm not presenting a sales pitch to these kids, but there is a product out there. It's called Mood, and Mood can enhance your focus. It can improve your stress management. It can give you the mental cognition that you need to support your brain throughout the day in your classes. It gives you the elevates your mood and the mental clarity, decreases anxiety. It helps you manage the stress. It promotes a healthy stress resilience. Hip Tran created this for himself so that he could deal with his depression and anxiety. And so we also have it in a pixie stick for smaller kids, but adults can eat it too. And this saffron that's in here, it's yummy. You just take it and put it. The other Mood comes in a pill form. That's the one that these college kids need. They should be taking it twice a day. This one is a pixie stick, so they just pour it in their tongue, and it's yummy. It doesn't have sugar in it. This saffron normalizes their serotonin and dopamine activity, which are your feel-good neurotransmitters. It's natural ingredients supporting their stress hormones, such as cortisol, which is going to make them fat around the stomach area, and reduces sugar cravings. So literally, we talked about what you populate your gut. So it was back on the supplement. What you put in your gut can give your brain. You can have sugar cravings if you put in M&Ms. You can have soda cravings if you put in soda all the time. If you eliminate that stuff, you literally can get those thoughts of cravings out of your brain. Unplug. You guys, they're on these phones. I surveyed them. Some of them thought they could be on them for 10 hours a day. Physicians say no more than 2 hours a day. And why? They need to get off their phones, get out and connect with humans, have relationships. This is what's missing, and this is why they're having anxiety and social anxiety. If we can give them a Mood product and get them to take some of these hacks and naturally do morning routines where they're getting out of bed right away when their alarm clock goes off. If they can plan their 8 hours or 7.5 hours of sleep, calculate what time I need to go to bed at night instead of waking up, like going to bed at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning and having to get up at 6. If you have to get up at 6, calculate your 8 hours, get to bed, get your schoolwork done earlier, plan what time you need to go to bed. Drink 16 ounces of water right away when you get up in the morning. This is going to jumpstart your metabolism. Get off of the phones the first 15 minutes. I challenged them to don't go and check what the drama was. You missed those messages. You were getting your proper sleep. Those kids weren't. They're the drama queens. They're whatever was going on. You don't want to wake up and set your intention. That's going to start your day. That's where your day is going to go. You missed it. Forget about it. Move on. Have your mindset. You do what you need to have your mind having positive thoughts. Maybe meditate for 5 minutes. Have intentions. Think about who you're thankful for, what you're thankful for, what you want your day to be like. Start your morning, populate your microbiome, populate your gut, make a smoothie, how to put some greens in there, blueberries in there, a great protein, this pre and probiotic that I want to talk to you about. Get out and connect with nature, do a movement. There is a paradigm shift here about what is going on in the gut. Your gut is telling your brain, and if you populate it first thing in the morning with an amazing probiotic and prebiotic fiber and greens and colors of the rainbow, we have a protein drink that we can mix and make in a really great tasting smoothie. If they can start their day off and focus their brain with a pill called focus, and a pill called Sync for that access that goes back and forth. It's going to increase their, it's going to help with their immune system. So it's going to increase their focus. It's going to populate their microbiome with what it needs to focus the brain. And it's going to keep them from getting sick during the cold and flu season, because they're in college. There's a lot of kids walking around with stuff. And let's keep this conversation going, because it's a national conversation. You can't go anywhere without understanding that there is a mental health crisis, and the social shift towards opening up about our mental wellness. It's happening all over. And the statistics here scared the bejesus out of these kids. And so mental health of your young adults, ages 18 to 29, 75% of them, they have mental wellness issues before age 24. The third most common hospitalization for adults ages 18 to 24 is mood disorders. And there's a real serious suicidal problem in our kids, in our colleges. It's happening. It's happening. And I've heard stories about how a senior was graduating in literally a week. He was on top of his class. He had so much going for him, and he took his life a week before he graduated. What could we have done to help him manage the stress and manage the anxiety and help him through this? That maybe it really wasn't the thoughts in his brain. Maybe some of it was coming from his gut. His serotonin levels weren't getting the sleep and recovering his brain at night. So let's keep the conversation going with your kids, taking control of the things that they can improve in their mental wellness. And I asked them some questions. They had some great questions. And then I explained to them how they can get a hold of me, and how they can get their hands on some of the mood. Please come and take some samples. So I'm going to have some ways of, and some additional videos below where you can look at our fundamental pack. It's a pre and probiotic for the gut, a pill called Focus for the brain, and a pill called Sync to get the access going. If your child is under 100 pounds, we've got it formulated in a kid's product. We mix it with water, throw it in their smoothie, get it into them however you can. If they're 100 pounds or more, we want them to swallow these pills. And like I said, the mood also is really going to enhance their mental capacity of calming them down. And it's all natural, without sugar. And our energy product, I taught them how to drink it in their water bottles. I taught them to go get a water bottle, keep a water bottle, keep hydrated consistently all day long. So all these little hacks, I hope, could help them better their microbiome, and potentially get on these products to be able to help them with their mental wellness. So thank you so much. You guys know how to get a hold of me.